there, comic friends. It's time for Talking Comics. These are going to be 4 comics for the week of May 15th. We're going to forget about the comics that came before that I've read but don't have time to talk about. Some great books that were there. Hopefully I will catch them the next time they come around. We're going to start off with Briar, issue number 5. Briar is back. I was super excited about the fact that Briar is back. I love the first 4 issues. I think the first 4 issues are out in a trade. It is basically a story in and of itself. Nothing's resolved in that trade. But this is basically the retelling of Sleeping Beauty. Briar is our Sleeping Beauty. She awakes to a world, a realm that is evil, sick, and destructive and whatnot, and she tries to find her way in that. And she ends up gathering along the way a motley crew of people, a trans woman who is a witch, who can cast some interesting spells, a person from the north. Her name is Spider. She's blue. Looks like a blue elf. She's basically mortal enemies with regular old humans. She ends up being her, and by the end of it, they also end up with a skeleton knight. In this issue, we find our motley crew have gathered themselves together and are trying to be local heroes, earn some coin of the realm, and then create a larger plot to get rid of one of the fairy godmothers. One of the fairy godmothers killed the other fairy godmothers and is the one that's kind of in control of everything, the one that put Briar to sleep and wanted Briar to stay asleep. And she's in charge of the realm, and the realm is terrible. But she haunts Briar's dreams, and telling her that her being alive is going to create the apocalypse. And you think things are bad now that you're awake, it's going to get even worse. And the only reason I put you to sleep instead of just killing you, because we knew this was how bad it was going to be with you around, is because I love you. And so you should let me put you back to sleep. Well, Briar intends to kill her because she thinks that's all a lie. So they're plotting that. This book is written by Christopher Cantwell. Really love the story. For me, the elephant in the room is the art. The artist from the last 4 issues is not on the book for the rest of the book. And it dramatically affects the book in my mind. When I open up the book, start to read it, other than by story, I couldn't have told you that Briar was Briar. Garcia was on the art before, and it was brilliant. It kind of had its own vibe, its own look, and not that this doesn't. And it's serviceable. It's serviceable art. It does what it needs to do. It's just the prior artist, which I couldn't find a book offhand to drag out to, because my current comics are quite disheveled. For me to show you what some Jermaine Garcia artwork looked like on the book. So yeah, like I said, it was enjoyable. The story is smart. I really like it. It just was quite a change in art, and I don't know why. To some degree, maybe it's because I've just been taught for how many years I've read superhero comics. When an artist changes on it, it's kind of like, oh, that's kind of a bummer or whatever. But, artists change on the big dude books all the time. Or there's fill-in artists to meet the deadlines or whatever. This didn't really have deadlines. I mean, it was a good break between issues. So I don't know why the money wasn't there. I don't know. I'm just guessing why the artist wasn't back for the last. There's only 3 issues. I think this is goes through 8. So kind of a bummer as far as that goes. I mean, I'll pick up the last issues to get the story, enjoy the story, and maybe by the time I get to issue 6, I'll have moved past the art change. But the art was a significant draw for me in the original book. Um, but still, smart story. Smart story. Enjoying the story. Okay. Next up, I think the only full-on big two book I have this week is Outsiders, issue number 7. Look at that cover. Is that an homage to the Crisis cover? Supergirl, Flash, whatever. So this issue fully embraces the planetarian aspect of the book. It starts out with a meeting with Elijah Snow, a drummer, Jakarta, and I can't remember the fourth man. I can't remember the other person that's in off the top of my head. So it starts out with a meeting between them, and then we find out what happened and why Jakarta has been faking that she is drummer this whole time. So that clears up why why we have somebody else being drummer and that it has 100% has to do with the multiverse reality, the planetarian. If you're familiar with the planetarian stuff, they thought they had squared away their reality, that they had control of science fiction. They had control of all the stuff that told the stories and the century babies and all that to kind of lock down and kind of in control. Elijah Snow is talking about retiring, giving the whole thing over to Jakarta because they have got it under control, and then boom, everything goes nuts. And we find out why, like I said, why Jakarta's where they're at and whatnot. Really interesting stuff. The ending of it kind of is, what's going to happen to our team. There's Team Fox, and there seems to be Team Kate Kane. So we'll see what stories we're told now. I wasn't sure they were going to dip this deep into Planetary and kind of monkey with that, but I enjoyed it. I don't consider Planetary like some sort of sacred cow that can't be touched. They're not monkeying. They haven't monkeyed with anything that went on there. That's all still solid story. I suggest you read it if you haven't read it. It's an excellent piece of work. But yeah, I'm still enjoying. It's just kind of a fun, interesting little corner of the DC universe doing its own thing. And I'm curious to see what comes next with the way this issue ended. Drummer trying to find her, or Jakarta. I don't know what she's going to call it now, Jakarta. Her trying to find her stuff, what's left. Her friends made it. I don't think they did. And the reality that was there, and what, like I said, what Team Kate Kane is going to do now. It should be interesting. Much enjoying that book being kind of its own thing. Oh, Weatherman, issue number 5. This issue is pure action. You see that art on the cover. Nathan Fox, color by Moreno DeCerno is largely what it is. It's just a giant trying to stop the bomb from going off, sort of a thing. Three heroes in this, each of them with their own objectives to try and manage. I think one of them makes their objective, one of them dramatically fails, and one of them we don't know what's going to happen with yet. Just really cool. Some poignant dialogue in it. Continues to be in it. So it wasn't pure action, but it really was. It really largely was just a whole bunch of, wild combatants fighting each other in dynamic ways, and just really, really cool. Really enjoyed it. I want to say there are 2 issues left. I think this goes to 7. So I'm really excited to see what happens. This has been just an excellent series all the way along, from the first volume clear to the 3rd volume. Our Weatherman, Nathan, I just don't know. I mean, it may be there is no coming back. Excited to see, but an excellent book. Definitely check it out. Okay, Napalm Lullaby, issue number 3. Okay, I am starting to agree with people There's a little too we're not getting to it maybe. Um, Rick Remender spends a healthy amount of time in the letters column in the back of the book talking about the fact that, hey, he loves the fact that he's got an audience that does want to have stuff spoon fed to them. You don't need all of the mysteries solved. It doesn't have to be pure action. We can tell this kind of story at our own rate. And I do agree with all that. And I appreciate that fact that the book doesn't just, in the first 3 issues, hammer it all home to us and there's no whatever. This issue ends with some exciting stuff. See how that plays out. It did spend a healthy amount of time in the issue not going anyplace, just reaffirming. Well, I guess in a way it's good because it tells us how do you get to this higher level? How do you get this play? More of the kind of cult Tupperware. Oh, that's dating myself. I don't know what else other things people sell and kind of pyramid schemey kind of things. Hey, if you recruit 100 faithful people, non-sinners, you'll get to actually move into the city. And then I'm sure after you move into the city, if you do something else, you'll get to move farther on. And they do a good job in this issue of with their empath here of painting a picture of how these people are actually living. They have this wonderful facade. It's a beautiful place. Everything's clean. People are not to want for nothing. But under the surface, everyone's struggling. No one's genuine. Everyone's out for themselves. Sort of a deal. So I enjoyed it, and I think the story's still going where it needs to go at the rate it needs to go. But hearing other people talk about the book and whatnot, I can see the viewpoint of not giving enough. I fall a little closer, I think, to the Rick Remender camp of I don't need it all. I just need it to continue to be, have something interesting in it, giving me something somewhere. This does some more world building, paints some more picture of our people and the world that they're in. The end of it looks like it's going to have some pretty exciting dynamic stuff going into next issue. I would guess Bengal's art is sharp as always. So I'm in for whatever we got going on. I'm in for it. Next up, we have House of Slaughter. This issue is largely politics, trying to figure out the House of Slaughter and the House of Butcher, trying to agree as to how they're going to go after Jance, because he made a mockery of them in the last issue, and they need to figure that out. We do get some of him going kind of back home, and an argument to be made for just packing up a boat and going away, and that being considered a win versus his need for vengeance against the people who murdered his family. So that's all interesting stuff. I'm still really enjoying the book. I like characters. I like the political play of it. Seeing this somewhat larger scale, how things operate in this universe versus Something Killing the Children, which is much more microscopic look at specifics, as opposed to this, which is more of a macro view of the workings of the world that they operate in. So continue to enjoy that. Issue number 23. And we'll excuse me. We'll end with Ice Cream Man, issue number 39. If you're familiar with Ice Cream Man at all, this is more Ice Cream Man. I always enjoy this book. It never lets me down. This issue is called Decompression of a Car Crash, Part 1, I pretty believe is what it's called. Decompression in a Wreck, Part 1, is what this one's called. And the question, because there's always a question at the beginning of Ice Cream Man, like to remind people that, and this one the question that is asked is, what's At what speed does life move? This is an interesting question, and sets up the story in this one quite well. This comic talks about decompression in comics. It talks about the decompression of the comic in this comic in particular. There's a comic book inside this comic book to help illustrate how decompression in comics works. I love all that stuff. And then, of course, we get the Hallmark Ice Cream Man stuff where we get quick glimpses at these four individuals' lives, or in the case of children, potential lives, or something else. Most of the time, Ice Cream Man has nothing to do with the Ice Cream Man thing. I sometimes wonder when I read it, have we completely forgotten about the white hat and the black hat people? And does it matter? It doesn't really matter to me. I enjoy each issue. Some issues are really good and really like, oh, wow. What did that just tell us? What are the questions it brings up? What does it make me think about? And then some of them are just like, that's just messed up. and that's fun too. There are window dressings that are occurring elements in every single issue. If there's any type of advertising to be had, it is always Holt. Here's this Holt truck having this crash. This comic lasts 5 seconds, and we get some other reoccurring things too. Bugs seem to be a reoccurring theme, and that shows up in it also. I won't go into much more on it, other than, like I said, it continues to be just a really good comic with really great thoughts and just things that have to do with life, questioning life. What is it all about? What is the meaning? What is the meaning, to exist? What does the meaning to be a person? What is just all the different kinds of elements, trauma, about trauma, physical and emotional trauma. I continue to just always happy to see this book out. Moranzo's art is always super solid. He has his style. He is uniquely himself. You can, the second you pick up any kind of book that he's doing, you immediately know it is him. Prince just writes really great questioning stuff. If you like his work, go check out Swan Song. It is complete. Should be a trade. If it's not out yet, should be out soon. That is excellent. That is like 5 or 6, maybe it's 7 individual stories about swan songs. And it is just great work also. But I always really like Ice Cream Man. It's always the top of my list. We're in issue 39. Every year that it has come out, it's always in my top 5 books that I enjoy and add value to a comic, add value to story, add value to my enrichment of one of the reasons why I read comics. Anyway, that is it for this week. I'm going to jump off here and start reading that big pile of books that I showed yesterday. What'd you read? Did you read any of these books? Am I way off? I know some of you are reading Napalm Lullaby. What do you think about it? I know some of you don't care for the House of Slaughter stuff. Cool. Let me know why, if you're still actually struggling to read it or whatnot. Do you read Ice Cream Man? Am I right? Am I wrong? Is it just, it's just a book? It's gone on too long. 39 issues of basically doing the same thing. If you see it that way, let me know. Let me know what's going on. Anyway, have a great one, everybody. See you next time.